Yeah. Let's go.
Do we see a green bike at the front? Shakes it down. Webster with a good jump.
Luke Cloud up the inside. Cloud that comes through.
Jet Beat has done everything right today. 5 seconds to go.
24, ProMX champion. Take a bow, Kyle Webster.
Go hard.
The rolling hills of Toowoomba provide the perfect backdrop for the most prestigious outdoor motocross championship in the Southern Hemisphere. Welcome to Toowoomba, Queensland for round 7 of the Penrite ProMX Championship presented by AMX Superstores. I'm Lee Hogan alongside former Supercross superstar Danny Ham. Danny, Echo Valley here at Toowoomba, some serious history here. We've seen some epic battles.
Absolutely, over the years this place has really delivered some fantastic racing. Even going back to when we were racing, Lee, we loved coming here. It always delivers, so cannot wait to get today underway.
Pirelli MX2 class, it was Brodie Connolly at the last round that came out on top with another double victory. A sensational form, and he has stretched out that championship points lead now.
Yeah, out to 38 points. Kingsford unfortunately didn't quite have the day he wanted, but Connolly capitalised once again. The double win, he is looking unstoppable at the moment. We just have to see what happens here at Toowoomba.
Yeah, Ryder Kingsford still in second place in the championship, but a mammoth crash in that second moto once the rain started to fall. MX3 class, it continues to be Cade Kingsford. He is on an absolute steamroll at the moment, and he is walking away from this championship.
He could potentially wrap this championship up this weekend. A double win for him, maybe a little bit of luck going his way with his competitors, potentially could wrap it up. 42 points is the gap at the moment, but he has to have a clean weekend himself.
And how about the form that we're seeing from Jet Alsop, the privateer Honda rider, came out on top in that final moto once the rain started to fall. He is in fine form.
Absolutely, we've seen this kid grow and develop in this particular class over many years and finally picks up that win. It just takes one win sometimes to get that ball rolling, so we may see it this weekend again, him on top at Toowoomba. Now this particular track, Lee, we love coming here, and I was a little bit envious watching you get around the track. Absolutely perfect for a vet right now. Let's see how this one played out.
Welcome to this week's Shingleback off-road track preview here at Echo Valley in Toowoomba. Let me get my bike off the Shingleback moto rack.
All right, let's hop on for a lap around this iconic Echo Valley track. Out of the first turn, fast right-hander here, so grippy. On the 450, you can stay nice and low off that jump. Nice little step up, so soft at the top here. Woo! Couple of the riders up there at the top. Give us a little bit of a wave on. Nice little corner step down there, drifted a little bit wide. Such great conditions here. Tipping into a nice left-hander, decent sized tabletop here. Finally got it, not too bad. Another good jump. Split section here, inside or outside. Kept over jumping that one before. Finally managed to remember that it's not too big. Around that inside hump. Now this next jump, got to hit it pretty hard to get all the way to the lander. So let's go. Yeah, here we go. Little scrub up the top of the Matterhorn. Make a left, and the steepest part of the track. Wide open all the way down here. Little float over the top. Try to stop for the inside, and let's try to get these whoop style. Just double for me at the moment. Some of the top guys might do something a little different. Nice, fun double. All right, we're gonna stick the inside, try to get this finished tabletop. Big pop. Little bit muddy here. Let's not crash on the last corner. High hammy. And onto the main straight. That's a lap. A Shingleback track preview.
We are here, of course, at Toowoomba for round number 7 with MX2 on the line, ready to go. But before we get to that, Lee Hogan caught up with Byron Dennis earlier in the weekend.
Here with Byron Dennis, factory KTM rider. Now, Byron, we just found out we've got a wild card for up at Darwin, MXGP. You must be super excited about this.
Yeah, looking forward to that, coming off the back of the ProMX Championship, leading into that. And yeah, I feel like it'll be a really good way to put my name out there and seeing what the rest of the world has to offer.
Now, the training for the heat, the humidity that we've got up in Darwin, we're going to have to bump it up a notch. It's going to be intense, right?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like it'll definitely play a factor, but yeah, nothing's impossible and it should be good.
All right, well, best of luck for these last couple of rounds of Pro MX, and we'll look forward to seeing you up in Darwin.
Can't wait. Thank you.
Let's take a look at the Pirelli MX2 rider lineup. Brodie Connolly was fastest in time qualifying. Byron Dennis, impressive. Noah Ferguson. We are about to see the drop of the gate. Moto1, who has got their mud boots on? Let's go.
Well, this is a very different track for all of these riders. Those start buttons not releasing going into turn number 1. It was Connolly up the inside. Larwood was there too, but it's Reese Budd, the Kawasaki rider, finds himself into the lead.
Well, this could just be...
Whoa!
Oh, how close was that to Connolly going down? Was that Ferguson using all of the track?
Yeah, and right behind them, Kingsford is there in the mix as well. Haruki Okiyama just going through the shot. So, what a start for Moto number 1. Look at the deep braking there by Brodie Connolly, as these riders will start to work out the best way around this circuit. Larwood with a little turn under there, looking to open up that left-hander and see if he can make a pass on Reese Budd as they hit the first of the big jumps.
Well, could this be the shot of adrenaline in the arm for Reese Budd that he needs to turn this season around? What a start it was. He needs to hold that position. Larwood, he was a long way back in time qualifying. 12th fastest, Danny Ham, and he has turned it around with a good start.
I tell you what, there's some desperation at the moment from Connolly because Kingsford just got to the inside of him, almost made the pass, and that's really woken up Connolly, who almost went down in the next
That is
turn.
Noah Ferguson, Danny. He has gone all the way up to second place, Ferguson.
Oh yeah, wasting no time as we see them go up the hill here. Actually, yeah, no, there's Connolly right there. Wow, this is a good setup for Moto number 1.
All happening here at the latter stage of lap number 1. Have a look at the speed down the Matterhorn on the first lap. But Reese Budd has the inside, but the slingshot engaged for Ferguson. He will have the inside here. He is on an absolute siege at the moment, just slicing his way through the field.
Absolute tear, putting himself into the lead as Connolly tries to get past Larwood, making the pass now into third place. Budd again to the inside, and now the outside, 2 lines coming together. Budd gets held up.
Okay, so Connolly with the momentum coming onto the main straight, but Reese Budd going for this very interesting outside. Will he stay out there? No, it's a long way around. He needs to reevaluate that line.
I don't know if it's at all Connolly very sideways. They are the ruts we're speaking of that you can't see. Now I saw Connolly reach up to those goggles 3 times as if he couldn't get a tear off away. Is there a problem with Connolly and his vision at the moment, or did he just miss it a couple of times up that straight?
All right, so Reese Budd there. He has now been passed by rider Kingsford. So from first back to 4th in a very short period of time, he needs to settle things down and not let this spiral out of control.
Well, that means Larwood has dropped back as well, like you mentioned there with Reese Budd. I'm impressed with the ride here from Kingsford early in this one. Really wanting to bring the fight.
This is the battle that I've been looking forward to seeing, Danny, because the early stages of this race, Noah Ferguson clearly made a statement that he is prepared to bump people around to try to get this result. I don't think he's going to roll over easily here.
I don't think he's going to roll over at all, but a good run here from Connolly. We saw a pass made on Larwood just here as they go towards the finish line. I've got a point I wanted to bring up with you, Lee, but I think I might have an answer on this very soon. Pick pass was the pit board to Connolly. That is, pick your lines, get the pass made. Ferguson has to go to the inside here to cover his line. It allows Connolly...
He's gone to the outside this time, has he?
Yeah, he switched it up. Connolly to the inside.
That saw his opportunity, just needed to be a little bit closer, didn't he? I was going to say the other part that I think could potentially be a passing opportunity is into the last corner here, where he goes to the outside. However,
Ferguson read that situation very good. Up and over the tabletop. Connolly needs to jump big to make the advantage of that. He's got up and over it, but not close enough right now. So they go into the turn one. We'll see what you said, Lee. The two lines here, how they play out. Connolly ducking that head down a lot. Down rider on the inside. Ferguson has him covered there. I also think I got an answer on the Connolly goggle situation. It appeared like he wiped his goggles just then as he went up and over the jump. They look pretty clean. Maybe I'm wrong. But, oh, that is why Connolly dropped back the last line too. He did a very similar thing the last lap.
yeah, I think Ferguson's just got a couple of great lines that have come together. And I think, like you said, one of the main things that's going to slow down Connolly, because he won't give in, he won't wave the white flag and go, here you go. It'll be a case of if he just overcooks it and tries too hard, makes too many mistakes.
I think that was part of the point I was trying to bring across, is that he rides so aggressive on a track like this, you can very easily override it and it slows you down. So maybe those mistakes have come that way. Maybe he takes a couple of laps and smooths it out. Let's have a look at Connolly. Watch the front wheel here.
Yeah, right here where it drops down to its lowest point. Kind of need to keep that front wheel a little lighter through there, let that back wheel soak through that.
This is going to be vital, this next lap or two through these lapped riders. If he can clear them easily, then he has the advantage. There is Connolly. He'll have two lapped riders to get by. As a familiar sight here, another rider down through the Pirelli right. The rider around the top just losing the balance. Brodie Connolly could almost smell the fumes of Ferguson just there in front of him. 2.3 seconds. Is this a last lap dash by our championship leader to try and pick up a win? It'd be massive for his championship hopes. Big dive down here. Ferguson is going to need to step it up. In fact, it's all done. Ferguson a mistake, and Brodie Connolly has strike at the perfect time.
How has this unraveled for Ferguson at the key moment of the race? Talk about the racecraft from Brodie Connolly. Beautiful inside line there, but potentially could we see no? Oh,
yes.
Is the lap rider in the way?
Going to be in the road of Ferguson.
All happening now. What line do we see here from Connolly? Because these two have completely opposite lines from turn one into turn two.
Oh, the bike struggling. Ferguson with a good run.
That's what he needed.
But the swing around the outside for Connolly up the hill. Wow.
Well, there we see it. There's the price of admission right there, ladies and gentlemen. Brilliant rail at the inside from Brodie Connolly. Noah Ferguson has not thrown in the towel yet. Final lap coming down to this. Who has got it?
What a run there from Connolly. I called it. It was getting close. I didn't think the pass was going to be made there. Unfortunate for Ferguson, he made a mistake and got held up in that corner. Does he have some time here to fight back? Up and over the tabletop. Connolly on the outside. Ferguson filters into a similar line with only half a lap to go. 0.4 is the gap. According to our timing, I think it is a little bit further out than that now.
Okay, so just doing points calculations at the moment from what we calculated before. Brodie Connolly, I believe, was going to have a 47-point gap. However, I'm not sure if we're waiting for it to catch up or if we got the calculations wrong, but it currently says 310 points for Brodie Connolly and Ryder Kingsford 265. We'll keep you updated on that. Either way, we have got a championship that could be getting handed out at the end of the second moto here, because what an amazing warrior effort we have seen from the #1 rider, the Honda HRC polyfloor rider, Brodie Connolly out of New Zealand, takes the checkered flag. What a momentous comeback from the Kiwi, Brodie Connolly. Impressive stuff. All right, let's take a look at our results. Pirelli MX2 Moto1, Brodie Connolly with the last-minute dash and win. Noah Ferguson, solid second place. Larwood in third. Kingsford in fourth. Damage to the points chase. Caleb Byron rounding out the top 5.
Yeah, well, Kingsford had to make that pass back on Byron, so that definitely helps. But there in 6th place, Kobe Burke, well done. There in 7th, that's Tsuharuki Yokoyama, Travis Olander. Some privateers up there picking up some good spots, 9 and 10 for Dixon.
Curtis King there in 11th. Cosford, Pace, Dennis, Williams, Byron Dennis back in 14th, a little out of the sorts from where we would expect him. Birchall, Kukas, Ty Keane, Ryan King in 19th, and Joel Phillips.
Well, this track has played havoc on the field all through Moto number 1. It's just setting up how difficult the entire day is going to be. Let's head down to Trent with our winner.
Yeah, down here with Brodie Connolly. Brodie, what a battle that was all the way to that last lap. You got the pass made, but track looks tough. You had to work for it, and it looked like a few times you just had to sit back and let the track come to you. Is that what it was like?
Yeah, the track's so tricky, man. It's easy to make a mistake. So, yeah, I had a couple goes at Noah early on, and then sort of just said to myself, you know, thinking about a championship, got to relax, and I found some better lines towards the middle there, and then I think I looked up and seen 4 minutes to go. I was like, nah, I'm winning this race. So gave it a good crack, and yeah, looking forward to the second one. Track's technical, but yeah, it's a lot of fun.
A lot of fun out there for Brodie Connolly, guys.
Well, talk about a rider that we said will never give in, right? Never throw in the towel. What an amazing race. All right, time for a quick break. When we come back, time for MX3.
Welcome back to the Penrite ProMX Motocross Championships, brought to you by AMX Superstores. Now we have the MX3 about to get underway for their first hit out on a very, very difficult track. Before we get to that, Lee Hogan caught up with Jet Alsop, our last race winner.
We're here with Jet Alsop on board the Pro Honda Privateer Honda machine. Jet, you've been sensational this year on board that red bike, but it's all come to a head last round with a win in that second moto. That was fantastic.
Yeah, it was obviously really good to get a win, and it's pretty cool that I can do it on a privateer bike, and yeah, hopefully I can keep the momentum going for the rest of the series.
Yeah, your speed has been sensational. Once the rain started to come down, the skies opened up, you really seemed to get even more comfortable. Have you always felt super comfy when the wet conditions come around?
Yeah, well, I've always rode in the rain as a kid, and I mean, we didn't get too much rain in our second moto, which is lucky, but I don't mind the rain, and hopefully I'm actually looking forward to a moto this weekend.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, that's good news for you because we've got plenty of rain here at Toowoomba. Best of luck here at the penultimate round.
Thank you.
Yes, the rain certainly did come down, and it was muddy earlier on today, but the track is really turning around as we get set for the next of our MX3 Moto number 2s. But before we get to that, here are the race highlights. And it was a terrible start for Kingsford as he came together with our New Zealand rider off the start, put him back there in last. Crashes in the first turn, and it didn't end there as we saw a great start by the 147. Alsop was also there up the inside, but look at the traffic jam, Lee, in turn number 2.
It was hectic. This particular part of the track has been hectic all day long, and I can't see it changing anytime soon. But up the head of the pack, we had all kinds of altercations going on. Riders trying to pick their bikes up and get going. A brilliant start it was from both Jet Alsop and Jackson Fuller, and here we see Fuller on screen at the moment up the inside of Jet Alsop, who was our early race leader. Fuller would go on to get himself a little bit of a handy gap as things would settle down throughout the mid part of the race.
Townsend was there, as too was Kai Woods. They continued to push themselves forwards. Woods made himself all the way up into 4th place at one point in this race, but this pass here by the 42 machine. Around the outside, Jed Alsop jumping into the lead and started to stretch it out from there.
It really was relentless pressure from Jed Alsop as he came across the finish line with fists pumping, because that made it 2 wins from 2 starts. Can he make it 3 from 3 in this second moto of the Maxxis Tyres MX3? A great ride from Jackson Fuller. Also, unfortunately for Kai Woods, a crash in that race with a busted collarbone. It's devastating news for the Yamaha rider.
Unfortunate for him, that will end his championship hopes, but it has opened up the door here for a potential victory that we may see get closed out today from Cade Kingsford. However, he has to beat Jed Alsop, who won the first race. Kingsford very fast though, fastest lap of the race, final lap of Moto number 1. He's ready to bring that fight. Woods at the scratching. Kobe Hannes returning to the racing, got himself a 3rd place. Hayden Draper out visiting New Zealand rider Max Compton, Jed Alsop, Townsend, Morrow Davey and Burton.
Hayden Downey, Frederick Taylor, Caden Strode, Nixon Darrage, Casey Wilmington, there's Seth Shackleton. You got a chance to have a bit of a chat to him during the lunch break. He's had some wicked arm pump and also extremely sick, was throwing up in his helmet, I believe.
Yeah, never a fun thing to do, throwing up in your helmet as you're trying to race around one of the most difficult technical tracks of the year with the ruts that they have. Choppy little bumps too can really tighten you up a lot as our riders lined up for Moto number 2 to get this one underway. Maxxis MX3, only 3 more races in the championship for them. Kingsford will be ready to bring the fight here and grab himself a good start.
Now Kingsford can mathematically get the win in the championship here in this moto. He can wrap up the title, but it's going to be a long shot. We'll bring those details to you throughout the moto. 15-second board is up. Keep your eyes peeled. We're about set to go.
Oh, I saw Kingsford jump pretty good. There he is in the middle of screen. Diving down to the front, but Alsop around the outside as well.
Wow, talk about having a full head of steam. That's the kind of confidence that you want to take into this. A beautiful hole shot from Jed Alsop. And it looks to me, has Kingsford held on to second here? Yes, he has. Yes. Rails around the outside. Oh. What a line from the Honda rider.
Kingsford to the lead. Jed Alsop sitting there in second. Now, he knows the inside line. KTM secrets right there. Wasn't able to grease it as we saw with Crawford, but still holds on there. Jackson Fuller in 3rd place. And was that Shackleton, I think, just moving into 4th? I think it is.
We'll try to pick them up as they come through. Fantastic drone shot that we see here, but it's a case of factory Honda at the head of the pack versus privateer Honda in 2nd place. The WP hole shot going to Jed Alsop.
Great start for Alsop, and we said it many, many times. It only takes 1 race win to get that ball rolling. The true belief that you can go out there and win races. How about the inside here? Fuller making the pass on Jed Alsop. Can Alsop make it back? Ryder down on the top of screen just there in the middle of the track.
Yeah, the bike's on the inside, Ryder on the outside, so he has got whipped into the ground there. Now we see Alsop trying to get back past Fuller once again. 2 abreast as they come over the top of the middle part of the Matterhorn. So that was a gutsy move from Alsop to retake that 2nd position. He's got bigger things on his mind. He needs to try to keep this championship in play right the way through to the final round.
That is the 96. Here is a replay. Where are we looking here? To the outside. Oh,
that is the hole that I was talking about that Kyle Webster hit on the last lap of MX1.
So I think that was Hayden Draper, our New Zealand visitor. Unfortunate for him, he had a great start to the day. Cade Kingsford continues to stretch out the lead, 5.6 seconds. However, that's a bit of a shorter distance than what we have seen leading into the start of this lap. It was out at 6, but I feel I saw Jed Alsop just get caught up a little bit from a lap rider at the top of the Matterhorn, and Kingsford being forced to run some alternative lines to what he's been doing as he clears another one into his competitors there, puts them a lap down and moves back towards the finish line to complete yet another lap. Still 7.5 minutes to go in this moto.
Yeah, we're seeing something totally different from the helmet and the peak of our race leader, Cade Kingsford. He doesn't have an extender on the end of the peak, but he's got one of those foam inserts that go over the top. So if you do get roosted with a heap of mud, like we saw on the top of the helmet of Kyle Webster when he went down at the bottom of the Matterhorn in the pole shootout, you see how much mud was on the top there? Well, this stops that mud from sticking to the top of your helmet. Looks a little bit funky, looks a little weird, but hey, it works.
Yeah, it works a lot. It keeps that weight off the top of the helmet and the neck. It's very draining to have that extra weight when you're trying to deal with the G-outs throughout this track. And across all those bumps and braking bumps, Alsop 7.6 seconds back now, so he has dropped off the pace just a little bit again. Like we mentioned, he doesn't need to do anything different here to pick up the overall on the day, and he does have himself a healthy gap back to Jackson Fuller there in third place. I would have to think at some point they will be looking to just ride this one out. A pass being made though by Hantus right there. Has got himself in front of Fuller now, so Hantus back into third. And it was Moto1 here. Unfortunate that Woods did go down. Interestingly, it was exactly when Cade Kingsford was working his way through the field and was in a battle with Kai Woods there. Like we said, we didn't see what had happened. We just saw that he dropped down the order. So unfortunate for him, and I'm sure he'll come back out swinging when we come into Supercross later this year. As Kingsford caught up behind another one. There was not a lot of room there.
Just threading the needle and then just arm up in the air like it was the lap driver's fault that they were in the way. Brilliant, love it.
That was interesting. Don't know if there was anything to that. Maybe he was just reaching up to clear some vision, but yeah, Jed Alsop has closed down a little bit there.
Yeah, he has, and look, I believe, what are we, 23 seconds? They're definitely going to be getting that last lap board the next time that they go around. But Alsop, he's putting on a little bit of a charge here. He's got nothing to lose. So look, it's not going to massively change the end result, I don't feel. Doesn't really need to happen. He doesn't need to pass Kingsford to take the win. However, how nice would a double victory be to take the overall?
Look, we can't say we know how this one's going to turn out. That was proven today in MX2 Moto1, where we thought Noah Ferguson was pretty secure for the position he was in. And then just out of nowhere on the second last lap, Brodie Connolly just threw down some absolute heaters and ended up grabbing that win away.
Yeah, Connolly was like, I can do with these 3 points. Coming out of the left-hand U-turn at the bottom of the Matterhorn, and someone with the bit between his teeth, Jed Alsop. You can see everything about him, his energy, his motivation. He has bumped it up another notch. When they come through this time, they will receive the last lap board. Tucks it in the inside there, the number 96 ride. I'm not sure if he knew he was being put a lap down. We have a look at our lap time for that last time through. It's a 206.03 for Cade Kingsford, a 205.0, so a full second taken out from Jed Alsop.
Yeah, 2 laps in a row that Alsop has been quicker. 2 seconds in the first of those 2 laps between these two, but as we said, Kingsford's in a spot where he really can manage that gap just quite easily at the moment.
Across Skyline and down into the left-hander, continuing to take that middle line there. I think he has got enough of a gap other than any uncharacteristic mistakes from our race leader, our championship points leader. If he stays in this position, he will not win the overall on the day, and he won't get to wrap up the championship, but he does have himself an amazing championship points lead going into the final round. We'll have to wait another 7 days. Less than half a lap to go for the number 20. Got the red background on. Cade Kingsford has been bulletproof this year.
You'd have to think that that last race, the first race here today was the real undoing of Kingsford, if you could call it that. A slight mistake at the start of the race, getting caught up in turn number 2. this would be his worst result. However, the charge he put in Moto number 1. At one point, we saw him in 27th on our leaderboard, all the way up to, I think he got 4th in that first race. So an incredible performance out of Kingsford to get himself those valuable points and continue to stretch out that lead in this championship to a point where he is going to be able to close it down very soon.
Coming into the final part of the track, up and over the big double into the final turn. A 4th place in Moto 1, but backs it up the way he knows how. A sensational victory here in Moto 2. However, it will be Jet Alsop who comes through to take the overall. What a brilliant ride for the Privateer Pro Honda rider. Huge step in the right direction, and the main thing, Danny, he keeps the championship alive for another week. Brilliant stuff. All right, let's take a look at the results. Maxxis MX3. Kay Kingsford with the win in Moto 2. Jet Alsop in 2nd place. Kobe Hantis, Jackson Fuller, Seth Shackleton, Devison, Burgess, Wilmington Rose, and Kremer.
Hayden Downey in 11th place. Phelan Townsend, Rumans, Taylor, and another Taylor, Travis Taylor. Sonny Pelicano a little bit further back than what we expect to see him. Hayden Draper was a rider that went down early on in this one, unfortunate for him.
Strode down in 21st place. We like to see him up a little higher. Likewise, the rest of the riders coming through. Corey Eisel there in 31. We saw a form of altercation there earlier on. Let's head down to Trent, who's with our podium.
Yeah, down here, Kobe Hantis, good return back to racing for you. Danny said he spoke to you in the lunch break and you weren't happy with it, but hey, P3 on the day, you've got to be pretty happy to find yourself on the box here at the back end of the day.
Yeah, like I've had a real tough year. I can't thank Scott and Ford Dale enough for helping me. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here. And my dad. Yeah, I'm just stoked to. I'm not really stoked, to be honest. I thought I could maybe try and win, but a third's a third, and I'll be back next week to try and get the win.
Well, good job today, but he is motivated for more. We move over here to Cade Kingsford. Cade, Moto 1 was a tough one for you. You got the win in Moto 2. I mean, a little bit bittersweet, but a way to bounce back from what was a very tough opening Moto.
Yeah, had a horrible start in the first Moto and got stuck first lap. Made a pit stop. Cheers to Louis. You know, we made the fastest pit stop we probably could have. I wish I had a GoPro on in that first Moto because there was chaos all around me and I didn't really have any words for that after. But unfortunately to Woodsy, he went down and I accidentally hit someone in the first Moto, so praise to him. Hopefully he has a speedy recovery. And second Moto was a bit better. Got off to a good start. You know, he got to the front early and rode my race and sort of just let it from there.
Well, good job, man. Championship's still alive here, but it's the 42 Jet Alsop. Jetty, overall win now. We've got a race win, now we've got an overall win, mate. The smile says it all. Talk us through it.
Yeah, I'm stoked to get an overall win. It was another great start. I don't know where they're coming from, but I love it and keep them coming. But yeah, it was a good race. I knew if I just stayed behind Cade, I could get the overall. And I mean, the track's really tricky. I didn't want to do anything stupid and risk any injury for the rest of the season.
Well, you kept the championship alive, boys. That's Maxxis MX3.
Well, how about all smiles there from Jet Alsop? A well-deserved overall victory for Cade Kingsford. Keeps the championship alive. He's on 331 points. Jet Alsop second on 287, rounding out the top three. Still there, even after not lining up in that Moto. Kai Woods on 245.
Yeah, he wasn't on our list, so he missed that one lead. But Shackleton picks up some more points towards that one. Devison also there.
All right, time for a quick break, but don't go anywhere because when we come back, the Pirelli MX2.
Welcome back to the Penrite ProMX Championships presented by AMX Superstores. We are here, of course, at Toowoomba for round number 7 with MX2 Lee. Wow, what a Moto 1 we saw out of this crew. I think we're in for another one right now.
Well, Honda would well and truly know the points and what's going on. They would have everything, the red, the #1 plate, the T-shirts, you name it. That's all ready to go just in case. But likewise, I promise you, Yamaha and Ryder Kingsford would be doing the maths and figuring out what's going on likewise. Let's take a look at our rider list here. Brodie Connolly, Byron Dennis was fast in qualifying. Noah Ferguson, Reese Budd, Caleb Barham.
Yeah, Dennis unfortunately down the list in Moto #1, possibly a crash. Deacon Pace, Kobe Burke, Brock Flynn, unfortunately DNF first race, Ryder Kingsford and Campbell Williams.
Haruki Okiyama, the Japanese rider. Alex Larwood there, not the best in qualifying, but much better in racing. Cosford, Olander, Birchall, Curtis King, the list of names goes on. 15-second board goes up. We're almost in the starters' hands. Watch for the gate. There's a championship on the line.
Oh, good. Was that Kingsford on the start line? No, that's a #7. I think that is Cosford. Connolly there in fourth, Haruki Okiyama.
That's, Ferguson, what a hole shot from Ferguson. Oh. And there's Connolly up the inside there. He slots in a wrong place. Caleb Barham looked like he was going off the track there. Haruki Okiyama drops back to fourth. And right now, Connolly slots in behind Barham. Noah Ferguson, but Barham has made the pass.
Barham with a beautiful line to the inside. Picks up the inside once again. Ferguson the same. Connolly is there. Where is Kingsford? That was Kingsford just behind this little battle. You can see him the inside.
Kingsford now has slotted straight in behind Connolly.
So Kingsford well and truly aware of what's at stake here as he pushes forward to the side of Connolly. His main rival needs to get a pass made and try to run away if he can, but it's going to be a hard-fought effort to do that. The Pirelli MX2 is a tough one to win.
Oh, wow, how did he do that? So Connolly has just made the pass on Noah Ferguson and slotted Kingsford back a position. WP hole shot to Noah Ferguson, and it was a clear one.
And Connolly wasting no time at all, side by side with Barham. A drag race right now. Big jump by Barham, and he still maintains the lead, but only just. Oh, Connolly tries to be forceful, he tips over. That was Barham that tipped over Connolly. Made the line to the inside.
Oh, and stuck in that run. If you are in there and you can't move, there we go. He's up and going once again, but such a good position to be in prior to having that crash. So, championship points leader out at the head of the pack where he wants to be. But Kingsford back in fourth place. He needs to make 2 passes to keep the championship alive.
In third, I think, now because of where Byron went down. Sits in there behind Ferguson. Kingsford to the inside, through the waterline. He's got Larwood in behind him as well. Larwood will be wanting to make these passes to get up there.
Tipping it into the first turn. Through comes Haruki Okiyama. That looks to be Reese Budd. And there is Byron Dennis. After not the best result in that first moto, he wants to try to make amends here. He's on rails at the moment.
Yeah, so fast throughout practice qualifying was Byron Dennis. We expected big things out of him Moto1. We didn't see what happened, but all the way down in around about 14th, 15th place at the end, you'd have to suspect a crash took him out of proceedings there. But sits in there behind Haruki Okiyama, who is on screen, the 386 machine. There is Dennis trying to close down that gap.
It's a much better race from Haruki Okiyama so far. Good to see him well up there in decent position, but you know who wants to play a factor here. Alex Larwood can really do some favours for Team Honda. If he can somehow get past Ryder Kingsford and put a little bit of a buffer there, that is going to make the life a lot easier for Connolly trying to wrap this up.
Number 7 machine of Cosford getting a better result this time as we see Barham around the outside of the 110 of Ryan King. Couldn't make the pass. Now, we did see on the first moto, Cosford in the mechanics area with a radiator cap issue, steam everywhere, they got back out, so that was great to see, a much better one. Now, as we see Byron finally getting that pass made and moves himself up there into 9th position.
Down the Matterhorn, Cosford. Great little battle here, tipping it into the left-hander. Awesome drone shot. It really gives great perspective of what's going on. Totally different lines here, that inside run.
Also gave a great perspective with the shadows behind the bikes that these guys are looking straight into the sun as we see to the outside. Goes Dennis, wasting no time on Haruki Yokoyama. He'll be brave to try to outrun Haruki on that bike. He tried to be forceful, but Haruki closed the door.
Haruki gone full kamikaze into that first turn up the inside.
Beautiful step up. Great run. Is that Burke? I think Kobe Burke. Olander on 275. They are back there in 12th and 13th at the moment.
So currently, Brodie Connolly, our race leader, he has got the fastest lap at 2:02.047, and he did that on the last time around.
Connolly knows the deal. He knows the objective here. Needs to get this race win and make sure no one can get there and battle it out with him. We see some more good battles just a little bit further back. That is Brock Flynn. He's there just in front of Seth Birchall on the 18 machine.
So, Danny, this is almost a case of now, if you try to get into the head of rider Kingsford and what he's thinking at the moment, this lead that Brodie Connolly and Noah Ferguson have pulled out, he's almost kind of left it in the hands of Noah Ferguson going, look, I've got you back here, let's go. Oh, a massive foot dab and almost off the side of the bike there. He is almost banking on hopefully Noah Ferguson being able to reel in and pass Brodie Connolly.
That wasn't all that pretty, but somehow he made it look good. Ferguson standing into that first turn, the foot dab, almost pulling the foot back off the back of the bike, and still made it look good. I don't know how it does that.
And somehow, in that lap, still made up almost half a second.
Yep. Wow, do we see a reversal from what we saw Moto number 1? We thought that Ferguson broke the spirits of Connolly until the second last lap.
Wow.
Can we see Ferguson do it again here? While he's inching closer, that's going to keep that fire alive in Ferguson.
We know that Brodie Connolly, he does not want to have to take this into the next round. He'll be looking back and seeing this charge from Noah Ferguson and just going, please don't do this. Can you just sit here nice and safely in between myself and Ryder Kingsford? But no, he is starting to edge up closer and closer. You can just see he's looking so comfortable in these runs.
See, if Ferguson does make this pass, then that gives Ferguson the overall for the day. It'll be tied on points for the round, but the count back would award it to Ferguson, as we saw a big delay there from Connolly at the top of the hill, all by himself. It wasn't his fault. There was no other riders around. Ferguson, though, is still able to close down that gap as we get towards the tail end of this race. 13 minutes still to go. It is Connolly that leads away in 3.5 seconds. Connolly continues to lead the way. However, it is a massive fight that is starting to erupt between these two as Ferguson continues to take out time lap after lap. They drop down the bottom of the Matterhorn. Connolly, 2.1 seconds lead as he works into some more lapped riders. Ferguson has had some better lines. However, I think Connolly is just starting to come to grips this last corner in particular. Ferguson has got a brilliant line just outside of the inside ruts into something that has been very clean. I think Connolly just found it.
How's that line? That's an absolute perfection, isn't it? Listen to the mechanics cheering on their riders, giving them every ounce of motivation that they can to dig deep into the reserves and finish this one off. We have got 8 minutes, 39 seconds plus a lap to go as our second place rider, Ferguson, locks in.
Listening to those bikes absolutely wedged coming through those left-handed turns. Oh, mistake though from Ferguson on the inside.
Well, he was far inside and it's got a deep hook in it. He was going for some kind of line. I'm not sure if he'd even tried that before, but it was a little bit costly there. Let's see how long it takes him to get back onto the rear end. This is a very strong part of the track for Ferguson.
Two different lines across the top. Down here, oh, the big run once again for the KTM rider. Closes in massively at the bottom. That might be a spot if he gets close enough to do a dive down the inside on the final laps. 7 minutes to go in this one. Pirelli MX2 Moto2. The mechanics waving the rags, trying to encourage their riders. They come on to slapped riders. Will Connolly clear this one? The blue flag's waving to allow... Oh, Connolly! Oh, he saves it just as he tries to zip in. But at the same time now, Ferguson has been caught up. But he is still right there. Desperate times of both of these riders. Watch this. Connolly tries to tip in. I think their bars come together right here, or at least elbows touching. They do just. How he was able to save that, I do not know. And he held it wide open around that turn.
Beautiful line at the bottom of the hill. That gap now has stretched out enough to be semi-comfortable for our race leader. Over 3 seconds the gap now. 4 minutes plus a lap left on the clock.
Ferguson has closed it down. 1 lap to go as they make their way through the Pirelli rides.
It is not over yet. This is no winding time for Yariv Konski. You know he is sitting there, watching, waiting. We have got less than 2 minutes and we will know the storyline, the narrative, what is going to play out here. Last lap board is out.
Ferguson trying his hardest. I'll tell you what, Ferguson's looked good in this moto. He's looked good all day, but this moto, he has looked strong. And man, is he giving it to the race leader at the moment. Up to the top of the hill, a bad run up there.
He didn't hit that mark properly, but he just established that gap a little more as they go across Skyline.
Into the left-hander. The rider's elbows touching those markers to the inside. The KTM group rides. Brodie Connolly flies through there into the Fox left for the final time. Ferguson down to it's 1 second gap now.
It's as close as it has been. It is not over yet. He cannot afford to make a mistake as he gets towards the very latter stage of this lap into the Kawasaki left-hander. Noah Ferguson is still coming.
The back end stepping out for Connolly. That has to be unsettling as they drop around here through the easy lift. Right-hander toward the top of Matterhorn. 1.4 the gap.
And there's lap riders at the top of the Matterhorn.
A big run down here from Ferguson. Could be what is needed, but he's not quite close enough. Down the inside here, look at this. A big run from Ferguson. Can he make it? He's right to the back wheel.
Following this same line.
And he made a mistake.
Well, he is your reigning champion. He has systematically destroyed his competition this year. 11 moto wins this season on board the Polyfloor Honda HRC, wrapping up 1 round early. Brodie Connolly is your 2025 Pirelli MX2 champion. Take it all in. What an effort. What an unbelievable ride. Wow. Wow is all I can say. That was epic. What a brilliant finish to this Pirelli MX2 champion. T-shirts out already as Brodie Connolly will make his way up to the podium. You have to feel a little bit for Ferguson, just so close to getting his first overall for the year, but it wasn't to be.
As we see the riders make their way into the podium right now. Both Ferguson and Connolly know they had a walk. Let's head down to Trent.
Well, I'm trying to get to the champ here. He's run off on me. Brodie Connolly, 2025 champion, mate. Talk us through that one. That was a tough way to do it. You fought to the end, but talk us through the emotion.
Oh man, I'm stoked. I was honestly glad that Noah was right up my ass because then I didn't really think about it, but I knew if I won and Ryder was third, I'd win, and yeah, Noah was behind me the whole time and it was like, oh, it's not making this easy, but no, it was good, just stayed concentrated and yeah, to go to go back to back, I'm stoked. So couldn't ask for much more. Just a massive thanks to the whole team. They put in massive hours. My parents and the Townsend family for giving me a cool place to stay. You just hit me in the head with that.
Well, guys, Brodie Connolly, it's all motion down here. You're with him as well. Brodie, congratulations, mate. 2025 MX2 champion. Back-to-back must feel like the weight's been lifted. It's hard to defend these things too, right?
Yeah, definitely. This year was a lot harder, you know. Getting the first one's nice, but yeah, this one feels extra special too. And yeah, it was hard to back it up. The boys stepped it up this year, and yeah, just congrats to Ryder as well. He's had a great season, pushed me along most of it, and also Noah and all the other boys. Yeah, it's been a fun one.
Well, we're wearing the champagne down here, boys, for the champion.
Well, an ecstatic Brodie Connolly, and very, very well deserved. T-shirt's already made up and on. A little bit of champagne spraying. We get the correct hat on. Let's take a look. The Pirelli MX2 results here. Our winner, Brodie Connolly. Noah Ferguson, second place, a valiant effort. Ryder Kingsford in third, did everything he could to keep it alive. Larwood in fourth, Byron Dennis rounding out the top five.
Haruki Akiyama there in sixth. Cosford, Byron, who we saw having great battles. Reese Budd and Kobe Burke with another top 10 here today.
Maddock Dixon in 11th. Olander, King, Flynn, Campbell, Williams making it into the top 15. Our list of riders goes on.
Well, let's head back down to Trent, who has the podium.
Yeah, down here with Ryder Kingsford, mate. It's a tough day. You fought hard, and even through this championship, but talk us through today. And you know, this track looked like it was tough.
Yeah, the track crew did an amazing job considering the amount of rain we got yesterday. The track was really good today, so props to them. And also, I just want to say massive congrats to Brodie. He rode really good this year, and you can't deny it. He's the champion now, so yeah, I thought I gave it a really good go for the first 4 rounds, and the points were very tight. But unfortunately, I've just struggled the last few rounds. And yeah, obviously, hats off to Brodie. He just succeeded on that, and yeah, it feels good to get back up here. But a little bit of a bittersweet moment.
Well, good job on today. Move over here, Noah Ferguson. Noah, man, what a day you've had on the racetrack today. Just missed out on the win on that first one, and then that last one, you put it all the way to the end. You kept it alive.
Yeah, I just tried my best, but that track it's hard to find a way around, and especially with the lappers. But man, me and Brodie were on one then, and that was fun.
Well, your 2025 Pirelli MX2 champion, Brodie Connolly there with his magical 50-point gap that he needed over Ryder Kingsford in second place. Noah Ferguson third, Alex Larwood 252 points, Byron Dennis in the top five.
Yeah, because for back there, Kobe Burke, Seth Birchall, Reese Budd and Caleb Barham. And Lee, he came down to that first race. We thought he was going to settle for second place. Got that win in the first one, which got him enough points to get the championship right now.
Never gives in, does not know how to give in. Great job. Time for the champagne to spray. It'll be celebrations time for Brodie Connolly. Back-to-back champion. As they say, it's hard enough to win one championship, but to go back-to-back is sometimes more difficult. Right, round 5 of the MyBike Australian Superbike Championship presented by Motul heads next to Queensland Raceway August 8th to the 10th as we kick off the last half of the series. Danny, you do not want to miss out on this one, coinciding with the supercars. Well, what a way to wrap up the penultimate round of the Penrite ProMX Championship presented by AMX Superstores right here at Toowoomba. Thank you so much for your company. On behalf of Danny Ham, Trent Maher and myself, Lee Hogan, we'll see you in just 7 days' time as we wrap up the series at Queensland Moto Park. Goodbye for now.